Welcome back, Shalligators. Well, some interesting news from two unlikely Eskimo sisters. I'll explain that to you. Heard it. Taylor Swift has been out and about in New York City with her apparent new bestie, Sophie Turner. Why do we care about this? Joe Jonas, right? All roads lead to Joe. Sophie, as we know, is currently in the middle, or not in the middle, probably at the beginning of her divorce with Joe Jonas. Yeah, it's pretty new. And Taylor famously dated him and wrote all these like scorch songs about him. I mean, they were fucking bangers, all right? They were amazing. Is this weird that these two are hanging out? Is this really sweet on Taylor's part? Or is this a little sus? Are they both using each other for kind of like revenge to stick it to Joe? Does Joe even care? I asked you guys on Instagram, what's the topic here? And you guys threw a million different ones at me, like all over the place. So we're going to get into it. We're going to cover a whole bunch of different things, from being friends. Okay, how does the phrase go? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Was that in the Bible? I didn't read it. It seemed long. To being a girl's girl, to try not to make everything about you. We're going to talk all about it. But before we get started, just a dispatch. Oh, wait. Okay, sorry. First, quick bit of housekeeping. So for a long time on the Shallon Entourage, I didn't realize this. The wait list was still up and active, even though I told the team weeks ago, take it off. I think we're good to go. And they didn't. So if you had been on the wait list, you should have received an email from a lady named Joanna Bobber, Bober. And if not, you don't even need to be on the wait list. You don't need to wait for an email. You can click the link right down below to join the Shallon Entourage. You get 5 bonus videos a week, plus access to all of our Telegram chats. We chit chat all day. Girls meet up. It's a really great way to make friends with some like-minded alpha females, get some advice on things, connect with me, watch me cry on story times. We're talking about blowjobs, all that. Speaking of sex, this is from the Nadine News Network, our Good News Network. There is really good news about abortion rights access. Okay, so people in Ohio had been gathering signatures to put a bill about reproductive rights on the ballot. And some powers that be in Ohio didn't really like that, so they tried to hold this like really sneaky election in August, which is not typically when you have an election, hoping people wouldn't come out and actually vote, hoping they would miss it. They didn't. So come November, a ballot about abortion access is going to be on the ballot in Ohio. So if you live in Ohio and you love body autonomy as I do, you guys know I'm a body autonomy absolutist. So get out there and vote. Also good news in Texas. Governor Greg Abbott signed a bipartisan bill allowing doctors to perform ectopic pregnancy abortions and abortions in the case if a woman's water breaks too early and the fetus won't survive. Can I just fucking speak on this for a minute? I've had an ectopic pregnancy. It's when the egg gets lodged in the fallopian tube. It's not a pregnancy. It's not like, oh, it's going to become a baby. You know what it'll become? It'll kill you, because it almost killed me. I was in the hospital for a week because of it, and I lost a fallopian tube. It becomes infected, and it basically explodes like an appendix. And all of those germs that are now flooding through your body can kill you. They almost killed me. So it's crazy to me that this is considered an abortion. It's not. It's not. It's a traffic jam on the highway of reproduction. So I'm glad Texas is allowing that. Ladies, gents, get informed about these issues. Get out to your polling places if things matter to you. But I just wanted to share those things because they just came up. Okay, let's talk Taylor and Sophie. My camera holder today is on its bullshit. And you know what? If it wants to be on its bullshit, then I do too. So Taylor and Sophie were spotted hanging out in New York till like 2 a.m. And the headline says they had a night of martinis and caviar bumps. Do you guys know what a bump is? Like when it's a bump. You put it here and it's just like a bump. Not that, I just read about that in Wikipedia. I've heard about that from a pamphlet. And they call them caviar bumps. So basically the girls had put caviar on their little hand right there and we're licking it off. That is actually the proper way to consume caviar. If you do not have a mother of pearl spoon, I know a lot about caviar. If you don't have a mother of pearl spoon, which is made out of a shell, like an abalone shell, and you want to use that because it doesn't have a taste the way metal or plastic can, and the taste can disrupt and interfere with the caviar, you want to put it here. And then you And it's very, very sexy. So if you're doing this around a man, now you can tell him the proper way to consume caviar, and you can look like you're doing something really naughty when you're doing it. So love it. Okay, so they went out. They both look like they just wandered out of an Urban Outfitters bin sale. They both look fucking awful. Like, Sophie, if this is you trying to get like the revenge, just, this ain't. I don't even know what this is. Did you buy this like off the street in Tulum? This is horrible. And so, yeah, they were going out to these, like, celeb-friendly bars, and Taylor's in this fucking sweater dress. Girl, I wore this when I was fat. You're not fat. Don't do that. Okay. This is interesting because, yeah, Eskimo sisters. And guys use this term. They'll say they're Eskimo brothers all the time when they fuck the same girl. They don't say it with quite as much, like, jolly frivolity when they dated the same girl, because then it's like, meh. But if they just slept with her, it's whatever. I am Eskimo sisters with quite a few, like, some, let me see, who am I Eskimo sisters with? Like celebrities that you'd know. One of the Obama daughters. I'm realizing I think I'm the most famous person the celebrities I've dated have dated. That's sad. That's really sad for them. Because I'm just a YouTuber. Anyway. I asked you guys, what's going on here? Does Taylor have some tricks up her sleeve? Because her songs, Last Kiss, all these songs about Joe Jonas were hella intense at the time. Hella intense. And it kind of gives you pause, because Taylor is one of those girls who doesn't seem like she's gotten over anything ever. And I'm the same way. So I vibe with her on that. Like, even when you don't want the guy anymore, it doesn't make the experience you had okay. Like, I'm over the guy, I'm not over the experience. Does that make sense? And so I find it interesting, if Taylor is that way, maybe she's not, who knows, that she would seemingly target this chick to be friends with, because as far as I've seen, I've never heard of or seen them out together. Have you? And a lot of you guys brought this up on Instagram. You're like, this is odd that we've never heard of these two being besties, or even in the same, like, remember her gay ass, like, squad goals, and we all had to endure the word squad. It was the same year we had to endure the word fleek. It is unbelievable we survived that. Wasn't that 2016 when Harambe was killed? Our society, nay, our entire planet has been downhill from there, and I swear to God, it was because of Harambe. Anyway. Yeah, I've never heard of these two hanging out. And one of you guys pointed out, oh, she has her new re-recorded version of 1989 coming out soon. So she seems to be like all over the place. And she is. Like, Taylor is nothing if not calculating and ruthless. This is what we love about her, but this is what we hate about her. Because once you attune to someone's particular brand of ruthlessness, it all can look very cringe. Not ruthlessness, but sort of attention-seeking. Once you get wise to their machinations, you're like, ugh, okay, this is what they're doing. And I just wonder what nefarious thing she could be doing with Sophie Turner. I really don't know. I mean, on one hand, you're like, oh, she could tell her things about Joe. Sophie was married to him. She knows him a hell of a lot better than Taylor Swift does. Maybe she's like hyping her up to really like destroy Joe in, you know, the public eye or in a divorce battle. Maybe she's giving her tips on destroying people behind the scenes. I don't know. I just have a hard time thinking. First of all, these two were only doing bumps of caviar, but I digress. Do whatever you want, girls. Do whatever you want. I have a hard time thinking that there's nothing going on behind the scenes, because if we know Taylor, again, nothing she does is without strategy. So let's read what some of you guys had to say. Caitlin said, she has a lyric, picture me thick as thieves with your ex-wife in the song Vigilante shit. I would not put it past Taylor, who is so into her own self-mythology, to let the tail wag the dog. Like, oh, you guys, what if her like next era, or this like subtle era this whole time, has been to write songs and then find a way to live them, versus the reverse, which is how most people do it. They live an experience, they write a song about it. No. What if Taylor has like ascended this next level of like villainhood? She's like, I'm gonna write these crazy fucking songs with these crazy scenarios, and I will find a way to then like inhabit them and live that in real life. What's next? Betty? She can date a high schooler? Is she gonna be a high school boy dating a high school girl? Hope so. It's dope. Okay, well, hold on. One of you guys is correcting me. She was friends with the couple, with Joe and Sophie. If she's out with Sophie, Joe certainly fucked it all up. Because let's mention how sweet she was for mentioning Sophie's children in the song Invisible String. Now I send their babies presents. That was the Invisible String, Taylor about Joe Jonas's kids. Is that sweet? I don't know that that's sweet. I think it's weird. I think sometimes the best sign of respect is distance. Do you agree? Or do you think that it is truly the height of maturity to be friends with your exes and even your ex's new chick? Man, I don't. Why? Because I'm petty. And even worse, I have an incredible memory. Not for useful things like one of my phone numbers, which I cannot remember to save my own life. But things that people have done to wrong me, I never forget. And if somebody broke my heart so bad, it basically inspired a whole album, which guys have, I don't want to be their friend. And I'm not like, yay, I want the best for you, even if it's not with me. I have never identified with a phrase less in my life. When people say that, I'm like, what? No. Oh, I mean, yes, I want the best for you. No, I don't. I want you to be happy even if it's not with me. What? That's like saying I want you to be rich even if it makes me poor. Also no, hard pass on that. That is crazy to me. I am also deeply immature, so take it for what it's worth. Are you friends with your exes? Now listen, I am friends with some of my exes, but I am only friends with exes where I rejected them and not the other way around. What is this in my hair? I have a bobby pin, like deep. Who knows? It's like Mary Poppins' purse up in here. I will only be friends with a guy if I was the one who walked away. If he walked away from me, no. Yay, you got married? That's great. Mazel tov. No. So I don't know. Is Taylor more mature than me or less? Is the concept of an invisible string a good thing or is it a bad thing? Tell me in the comments. I'm really curious because you know my standpoint. Fuck it. One of y'all said, Taylor has to be the head bitch in charge no matter what. I don't even hate her for it. Someone else said, how to move on from an ex for more than a decade. Taylor clearly hasn't. This is an interesting question, right? Because this is where we, as people who know about Taylor and we talk about her, even if you're not a fan, you know about her. It's like these two giant sides of her personality collide into one with the Sophie Turner thing. The fact that, like I said, she is the girl who has never gotten over anything ever. And she's always got to be the queen bee. Always got to be the queen bee. I mean, the hubris of this woman to have her squad. And it was literally all supermodels. And she's like, it's my squad. Would you ever? Would you look at Gigi Hadid and be like, I'm deciding where we go to dinner? No, I know my pecking order. Okay? Life is full of categories and phylums and genus and species and orders. And I will respect mine. That woman is higher on the food chain. She decides where we have sushi tonight. That's fine. But one thing I've always heard about Taylor, and I've mentioned this in like previous old videos, long time ago, is like, she's a girl's girl, but make no mistake, she is the queen bee. She will decide where you go to dinner. She will decide the theme for a party. She will decide what everyone's wearing. She will be vetoing outfits. She will pull up for you and she's a great friend, but it's her way or the highway. And again, the hubris, considering the company she keeps. Other A-list celebrities, and she's big leaguing them. I think that's very, very interesting. And you know, we talk about Taylor in terms of her pathology of her bottomless need for attention, right? And then it's like she hits this weird saturation point and she's like, no, I have to go live in the country with Joe Alwyn for 6 years and not see anyone. And then she's out here like Frenching that dude with the teeth, the British one, I can't. In public for people to see. It's like, I'm just a little confused. Like, which is it? It's interesting. If you don't believe that she has a ton of attention needs, look at where they went out to dinner. Paparazzi hotspots, celebrity hotspots. There are literally 15,000 restaurants, I'm not kidding, in New York City that you can go to. Not a single photographer in sight. You can go a million places and no one is going to know you're there or bother you or take your picture. That's not where she chooses to go. And remember, she is the one choosing, right? And so I wonder if this is kind of like fucked up. Maybe Sophie Turner like clearly looked terrible. I'm sorry, she's a beautiful girl, but what is this outfit? I have to go back to it. Is she like, oh no, we're going to go to Temple Bar. And Sophie's like, oh, I feel like, Soho House has a private, no, it's going to be Temple Bar. Okay, yeah, great. Maybe this was her big leaguing Sophie. Oh, I'm going to look cute. Taylor did not look cute. She looked like she wandered out of Kohl's. I know I said Urban Outfitters before, but I have downgraded my opinion thusly. I don't know. Taylor's a sticky wicket. Another one of you guys had something along these lines to say, Taylor is using Sophie for clout. Taylor is mega famous, but it seems like she uses her posse to keep her relevance. This is really true. And this to me solidifies my theory, and it's not just my theory, it's the theory of psychologists everywhere. Fame is a type of trauma, and trauma freezes you at the age in which it happens. How old was Taylor when she got famous? 16, 17, around there? The time when your social inclusion needs peak, when you're an adolescent. When you need to feel like you're part of a clique. You're not the girl on your own. No. You're part of a group. No. You're not just part of a group. You're the queen bee. I'm a fucking grown-ass adult. I could give I don't care about being the queen bee of anything. I'm the queen bee of the internet. It's like, I can let my friends choose where we go to dinner. I can let them wear whatever they want and do that. I don't care. I don't have that need inside me anymore. Taylor does. When you look at how she behaves with her friends, she is still that girl who doesn't want to be alone at the cafeteria. Now listen, this could be a gloomy view of looking at somebody who's simply going out with her friends, for sure. But I also think it's interesting that, does she have like non-famous friends? Does she have childhood friends? Are we ever seeing them? And maybe she is out with them and the paparazzi just doesn't care to take photos of them, But it seems like she gravitates towards the it girls. You know what I mean? The girls who are riding a wave. I'm surprised she hasn't ensnared herself with Sydney Sweeney. That's coming next. Mark my words. Here's a topic that I love. When the she was crazy story that your boyfriend gives you becomes your story too. How can you learn from past girlfriends? Yes. I was talking about this the other day in a video, like that Olivia Rodrigo song. It's like, you said your ex was crazy and I called her crazy too. And then you have that moment when you're like, I suddenly get it. And I have become better at, in the moment, when a guy's like, my ex is crazy, or like every girl I've dated has cheated on me, to being like, what are you doing to make girls cheat on you? Oh, because listen, men cheat because they have options. Women cheat because it's like a cry for help. Not all women. Some women are crystal and they're just garbagey cheaters, right? Some are. The women I know who've cheated, myself included, well, no. When I had cheated when I was a lot younger, I was garbagey. I was just garbagey. I learned to manage my emotions and express myself and whatever. The women I know who've cheated on husbands, I don't want to be a cheater apologist because everyone makes their own decisions and that's never a decent one. But you understand why they were pushed to that point. You get it. What they should have done is simply left, but you understand what they were trying to get from that cheating. Attention, love, sex, feeling alive, feeling beautiful. And they had tried with their husband. They had. I watched it. And by the end, I was like, girl, do what you got to do. I don't think this is the right move ultimately for you. But hey, I get it. When guys would cheat, I'm like, I don't fucking get it. 2 words, Tiger Woods. He literally cheated on his beautiful Swedish wife with porn stars who are missing teeth. Don't get it. So yeah, I encourage you to take it as an enormous red flag when a guy says, oh, my ex is crazy. What did she do that was crazy? Oh, you want to know? I do. And this is a dangerous game because you don't want to get a guy talking about his ex, but in a way you do because you want to do a temperature check. What you want is neutrality. And this goes back to what we say about Taylor. She doesn't seem to feel neutrally about a lot of people. I don't know, maybe she does, but right? It doesn't really come across that way. I want a guy who's like, yeah, things didn't work out. Some bad stuff happened. It was not great, but I moved through it and yeah, that's life. That's the story I want to hear, not, oh, are you ready for this? All right, cue up the PowerPoint. I don't want to hear that. I also don't want to hear like, yeah, she fucked the whole lacrosse team, but like, she's always going to be the one that got away. Let me go leave and so I can join her in getting away from you. I get it. I want that neutral place. So it's sometimes good to ask a few questions about an ex, if for no other reason, see how much he talks about her. Again, you want it to be like 2 or 3 sentences, we're in, we're out, we're wrapping it up, we don't need to bring it up again. If he's going on and on, I can think off the top of my head 3 guys I've dumped in the last 2 years because they wouldn't shut up about their ex. They just wouldn't shut up. I was like, you realize you're not over her. Oh, I'm over her. She's such a bitch. The opposite of love isn't hate, it's apathy, and you are nowhere near there, Chase. So I'm gonna go ahead and block your number. But I think when we encounter this, what made her crazy? Why do you think she cheated? Why do you think she ghosted you? She never had any conversations. He is giving you a map to his own bullshit. And generally that bullshit is, I didn't do anything wrong. Now you will unfortunately probably have to learn the hard way what the wrong was. His ex-girlfriend will know. She will tell you in a heartbeat, and something tells me she also did tell him. I don't know a single woman who has legitimately, genuinely left a man without ever telling him what he could do better. I don't know one. Who was in like an actual committed relationship. I'm not like, there's a few dates, there's no point in bringing it up. It is what it is. No, I mean someone in a committed relationship who one day they were just gone with no explanation. And yet that's what every fucking country music song is about. I've said this a million times lately. It's because it just doesn't get any less true. And so you want to hear if a guy's like, I don't know. I was doing everything right. Huh. Because 6 months from now, maybe even 6 weeks, he's going to be repeating that story on a different Tinder date about you. I don't know. Chicks are just crazy. They're bitches. They say they want a guy to communicate. They can't communicate. Really? Okay. I want us always to start to flex and develop the muscle of IRL, real-time realizations. Real-time analysis. This is tough. It's okay. It's progress, not perfection. And sometimes real-time is within the week. Okay? It doesn't have to be right there over vodka sodas. It could just be like, it was weird what he said. And you can touch back to it. It's like, hey, remember you said your ex was crazy? What did you mean? We have the right to go revisit things. I hear all the time girls be like, well, I can't bring it up again. Why? You know what guys bring up over and over? Giving them a blowjob. Yeah, that never gets old to bring up. So you can bring up something that is legitimately on your mind that could have grave consequences on your relationship. Don't be a coward. Or do, but then realize you might be relegated to the, I don't know, bro, she's crazy category. Don't be afraid to ask these questions. We're so afraid to ask questions from, why was your ex crazy? Or do you think maybe you precipitated anything that led to the cheating? To, do you want kids? Do you even want a girlfriend? It is shocking how if you go on Tinder dates, you meet some, or Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, whatever, tomato. You meet these people ostensibly on a dating app, an app for dating, and you ask a guy on the first date, so are you looking for a relationship? You would be stunned how many are like, not really. I've started asking this because I am looking for a relationship, and this gives me an amazing opportunity to gaslight them. And this is what I do. Oh, I don't know if I want to get tied down. I'm like, totally, And it's just really great that people are still meeting out in bars like we did. Oh, wait, no, we didn't meet at a bar. Oh, we met on an app. What was that app for? Dating? Wait, so I feel like maybe I'm confused. We met on an app for dating, but you just told me you don't want to be dating. And I just wait. When I realize that a guy is not for me, do I do the mature, polite, respectful thing? I'm like, you know what? Hey, let me just stop you right there. This has been so fun, but I just don't want to waste anybody else's time because I am looking for a relationship. No, I don't do that. No, I don't. I go for blood. I'm like, well, I've got 3/4 of a whiskey diet sitting in front of me. So what can we do with this? Okay. What story can we wring out of this horrible bullshit waste of time and makeup? I'm going to nail this guy to the wall about him acting like I'm crazy for wanting a relationship when I met you on an app about relationships. And I'm sorry. Don't say, Shallon, Tinder's only for hookups. These apps are only for hookups. No, they're not. No, they're not. I know many friends, like a dozen, who have met their long-term boyfriends or husbands on apps. I meet most of my boyfriends there. It is absolutely not a hookup app. That is gaslighting. That is the patriarchy fucking gaslighting you. That's what that is. Now you might be saying, no, it's not. It's my experience. Do you not think that same pie chart of guys, let's say 40% only want to fuck, 60% want a relationship, whatever that split is, it's probably the inverse. Let's say that that's what it is. Do you think that representation is any different at a bar? Or at your college campus? Or at just Manhattan in general? No. People's motives, their personalities, their red flags are the exact same on an app as they are if you meet them in real life. I don't understand why people blame apps. It is not the app. It is the people. It is the people. It's not the this motion. It's not the this. It is the people. So if you're like, oh, apps are stupid, they're full of fuckboys. What do you think a bar is full of? What do you think a frat is full of? There's good guys in both places. Stop making excuses for why you're not putting yourself out there. If you need help, you know I have my online dating course. The link is down below. I'll run you through it A to Z. You'll be a pro. Like I said, I know how this goes. People meet husbands. Okay. This is the last topic I want to tackle on this because I think it's a really good one. How to spot a fake friend. I feel like we are living in the golden age of fake friends. We're living in the golden age of fake everything, right? Because we have mythologized clout and being famous, being an influencer, going viral, attention, okay? You would think I, as an influencer, would be all gang for this. Like, yay, it's the age of clout, yay, because I have it. No, it's so depressing. People don't know how hard this job is, but I digress. I think that people are conditioned to move through life in a very sneaky way, where getting your needs met are kind of the only thing that matters and fuck everybody else. And yes, am I part of that problem? Probably. I do Eva Week. I teach all sorts of manipulation tactics, whatever. Part of the reason I do that is not to necessarily encourage you guys to be like Machiavellian garbage people, but to keep your head on a swivel for those who are. We walk among you, right? How do you spot a fake friend? Okay, well, let's define fake. Fake means they're not really there for you. Okay, so why are they around at all? Probably because they want something from you, right? They're using you for something. It is your job to pinpoint what that thing is. If you don't know, ask a friend you can trust. Hey, how do you think people would take advantage of me? What do you think they would use me for? Your real ones, your actual friends will probably be able to tell you. It's like, well, I mean, your dad has a lot of money, so I don't know. Maybe they think like, oh, you're going to drive him around in your dad's Range Rover all the time. You have a blue check mark. You're the hottest girl, right? Like, and maybe they're going to hone in on these things, maybe not. But it's better if you can do this work for yourself, right? And listen, it's easy when it's something like money, clout, whatever it is. It's a lot harder when the thing someone's using you for is emotional. Maybe what they're using you for is you're a really good listener and you offer great advice and you don't need to talk and share that much about your life. And so they're just like bleh, info dumping on you all the time. Maybe you're the friend who's always gang to go out. Maybe that's because you have a little bit of a drinking problem. Or maybe it's because you don't have a ton of other friends and you're like, I actually don't like to drink, but sure, I'll go out until 2 a.m. just because I kind of want to hang out with somebody. Maybe what they're taking advantage of, and I hate to say this, is maybe a little desperation. I'm sorry. You're not desperate. There's a difference between feeling desperate and being desperate, right? One is a destination, one is simply a layover. To be desperate is like a place. To feel desperate is just, it's a cloud in the sky drifting past, right? Totally different. So if that is how you feel, and we've all been there, my goodness sakes, I literally have girls in the Shallontrage today in the group chat being like, Shallon, stop acting desperate. That's great. That's great. Thank you. Here's my neck. But they're right, you know? And they're saying that because I'm not. They're like, this isn't you. This isn't how you act. Nope. I'm like, all right, damn it. So listen, it is going to be to your benefit to develop the self-awareness to understand what people might be using you for. And it could be a bunch of things. But let's say you figured it out. Let's say, with Sophie and Taylor, I would say, I would hate to say clout because Taylor's literally the most famous woman in the world. But Sophie is like making headline news. Okay, but let's just say, for sake of argument, that it's clout. I don't know how, or tell me in the comments, what do you think Taylor could be using Sophie for? Or, wait a minute, is Sophie using Taylor? I'm sorry, this whole video has been like the Taylor Swift villain hour. And you know I love her. But as her bestie, we can point out each other's flaws, right? Do you think Sophie's using Taylor? Maybe Taylor lives in infamy in Joe Jonas's life. He's like, oh, that bitch. She's always inserting herself. Who knows? And Sophie's like, okay, I know who I'm calling. It's going to boost my profile. Again, I wish you would have worn a better outfit, but I digress. Going to boost my profile and stick it to my ex. Let's say that it's clout on one end or another. Let's say that Sophie's using Taylor for clout. Here's what you do to combat that, okay? If Sophie's using Taylor for clout, the way Taylor could combat that is to simply remove the clout-based activities as an option. Oh, let's just order Chinese into my apartment. Oh, no phones. Let's not post anything. You know, let's just have like a girls' night off the grid. Oh, yeah. Take away the thing you think someone is using you for and see how they react. The people who hate your boundaries are the ones who benefit from you having none at all. Remember? Same with anything. The people who hate your removal of the thing benefited from you having no fence around it at all. I feel like that sentence kind of got away from me, but you get what I mean. If you think someone's using you for money, my dad cut my credit card off. Ugh, I know. See who sticks around. If it's for listening, be like, hey, I really need to come over and just like rant about this guy. And if she's busy when you need something, that tells you all you need to know. This is a painful process. It is. It's painful. To smoke out a fake it's something that very few people do. Honestly, people will instead gaslight themselves, lie to themselves, lower their standards, stay small to make that person's usiness okay and to dilute it. Well, she's just going through a lot. That's why she needs to talk like this. Well, my family does have plenty of money, so why wouldn't I pay for dinner? I mean, if she wants to like boost her profile and go out and be seen with me, like, sure, like I guess I could repost her. It's no skin off my back. It is if you realize someone is being fake. You can spare the money. You can lend an ear. You can repost. But for someone who is legitimately in your life, and that's not the only reason they're there, if they're a good friend, sure, give them those benefit packages. Why not? If it truly is no skin off your back, because you are getting something in return. They listen to you. They buy you gifts on your birthday. They're happy to promote your business. How to spot a fake friend? What do they give to you? And is the thing they give to you rooted in desperation? Well, they're talking to me. Well, she seems to really like me. Well, she's popular. Okay, who cares? Who cares? Maybe she's popular, but she's using you because you're doing all her calculus homework. Say you're going to stop doing it. See if that's still your friend. Again, this is painful. Because what does it do? The risk machine, the risk machine. When we realize there's an enemy inside the gates, it is probably one of the most disruptive feelings we can have as a human being, right? We are trained to keep our head on a swivel for enemies from the outside. Who's going to be my enemy? my boyfriend's new girlfriend, this bitch who keeps looking at me sideways, whatever it is. We are not trained, and nor should we be, to constantly evaluate the people who we have already deemed trustworthy in our lives. And I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying you need to constantly do this like Terminator scan of somebody. I'm saying that before you give them that carte blanche access to your life, your empathy, your heart, your time, your money, your clout, whatever it is, really understand their motives. I do this with new friends all the time. Given my job, I no longer have the luxury of just believing people are here for my best interest. I don't. I will purposely not post them on their birthday. Like I'll do something for them in private, but that's one of my big tests. I will purposely not post somebody, especially if they want to be a little like Insta famous or something like that. And I see how they react. If they don't even bring it up, great, wonderful. They can stew about it privately. Believe me, that will come to light sooner rather than later. But if they're like, you didn't post anything about me. I'm like, how odd of you to ask. What a strange request. Why would you need that? Are you here for me or are you here for my mentions? Right? Or they think nothing of picking my brain. I just want to pick your brain. What that means is I want all of your information for free. I want to stand on the shoulder of a giant and count myself as tall. No. I want to pick your brain about Instagram and YouTube. I don't think so. Or yes, but I always come back with, yes, and you know what? Oh my God, I would love a tutorial and I pick something difficult. How to use your Instant Pot, because I have one, I have no idea. You want to come over for like 4 hours on Saturday and I'll tell you about YouTube and you can bring your Instant Pot and teach me. Yeah, no, we can, yeah. I want you to teach me how to cross-country ski. Yeah, we could like think about doing that sometime. Any hesitation? I see you. Take away the thing that they want access to or put an obstacle in between it. Or an adjacent goal of yours. See what they do. Because let me tell you something. I promise you, and every girl in the comment section will verify this. Please, I would appreciate you guys backing me up on this because when you're in this situation of maybe dealing with a fake friend, it's really hard to leave. It's like a fuckboy who doesn't love you and you just don't want to see it because it's so painful. It's so painful. It is more painful to have somebody but actually be alone. Because on some level, you know that when it hits the fan, they're not going to be there for you. They're not going to pull up for you. They're not going to come visit you in the hospital or hold you while you're crying over the guy or, cheer you on to study for the bar exam instead of going out and getting wasted. They're not going to do that. And on some level, you know that. There's almost nothing more painful than thinking you have someone in your corner and realizing you don't. It is infinitely worse than being alone. Infinitely. Because you feel stupid. You feel like you are making decisions based on a reality that doesn't exist. You're prioritizing someone who is not clearly prioritizing you. You have somebody and yet you don't. The times in my life when I have felt the loneliest have been those instances, whether it's with a boyfriend who was not there for me or a girlfriend or even a coworker who threw me under the bus when I'm like, wow. Being alone, you know where the edge is. You know what resources you have, and you know what you don't, and you can plan accordingly. And the one thing you're not when you're alone is constantly disappointed, and then a huge disappointment when it really counts, when you really needed someone and they're not there for you. I wonder if Taylor would be so excited about hanging out with Sophie if Sophie turns around in a week and has some hot ass boyfriend and Taylor's maybe still single. I don't know. Do you think historically looking back on Taylor's school days that was maybe like a prerequisite? It's like, if I'm single, all y'all gotta be single. I don't really want to hang out with the girl who's like, coupled up. I don't know. That's interesting. Very interesting. Tell me your methods for sniffing out a fake friend and what do you do once you find them? Here's my advice, because this is the big question. Do you call them on it or not? Yes and no. You do and you don't. I think what you can say is, I really need you to pull up for me right now. I am going through a breakup. I need some motivation studying. What? Tomato, tomato. Don't say, because I think, you know what? Actually, Sophie, I actually kind of think you're only here for the clout. You know what, Taylor? I think you only want to hang out with me when my dad's got his boat out on the lake. That's interesting. Don't say that, because then they get to feel attacked. You're the bad guy and it's all bad. Are you approaching this from a place of peace, collaboration, harmony, friendship, or victory? And if it's victory, and if that's just where you're at, that's fine. But understand that's going to spell the end of the friendship and it's going to create more drama, even though you're righteous. So focus on what you need versus what they're taking. Focus on what they need to give. Because if they give those things, it might not feel like such a take. Sure, come on my dad's boat. Yeah, I'll repost you, whatever. Because you're getting your needs met. So don't focus on that. Focus on what they can give you. Because then, if they still don't, then you can go to them truly righteously and be like, you know what? You really weren't there for me. And I said I needed you. I don't need you all the time. Doesn't always need to be about me. But in that moment it was. And you weren't there for me. So, I wish you the best. I just need to back away from this, unfortunately. Because then it has nothing to do with you won't look greedy. She won't repost me. There's plenty of room on that boat. You're not going to look any type of way, except for a wounded friend who needed someone who wasn't there for them. And we all know that fake friends will turn on you and talk trash behind your back. That's a pretty hard thing to put a spin on. Yeah, and she was in the hospital and she was like, oh, you didn't come and visit. She is so crazy, right? Isn't it funny how fake friends and fake guys have the same rhetoric that they use to describe you? That they use to describe someone who wanted something from them that they didn't want to give. Something reasonable, something they were probably receiving from that person, but giving it back? You're crazy. You're goddamn right I am. Let me know what you guys think about this. What are your methods, like I said, for sussing out a fake friend? Do you think something fishy is going on with Taylor Swift? Are you Eskimo sisters with any of your friends? Yeah, I'm gonna try to think of my other Eskimo sisters. None are good. And join the Shallontrage. Our wait list is over. Click the link down below. No more waiting, you're in. I'll talk to you today. All right, I love you, alligators.